Welcome on in, ladies and gentlemen, to episode number 32 of Let's Go Racing with David Starr. Tyler Jones here with you. So glad to have you with us. Coming up on today's show, we're going to be joined by NASCAR Xfinity Series driver Jeb Burton. We'll get Jeb's insights on all things NASCAR, talk about how he got to this point in his career and also what's next for him, and get his thoughts on what is happening in the racing world and answer some viewer questions towards the end of today's show. Just a reminder that the folks at Whataburger cook up 100% pure beef burgers 24 hours a day. You can get your burger fix anytime, day or night at Whataburger. Proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. David Starr joins us right now. David, how we doing after that top 20 finish at Loudon, New Hampshire over the weekend, man?
Man, we're doing great, man. Had a great race, and, man, our Vodka Kite Toyota Super was pretty good. We started almost dead last, and I looked behind me one time when I got in the race car. There was only one car behind me, so we had a pretty good car. Had some new sponsors on the car for this weekend in Loudon, and drove up to about 17th, 16th place, and ended up 20th when it was all said and done. It was a great race. We had a great car. Pit stops were great. It was just a fun race, and we had a great car. Not, thought we was going to finish a little bit better, but hey, we finished 20th, and we'll take it.
Dominic Aragon of the RacingExperts.com is here as well. Dom, how we doing, bud?
Hey, pretty good, Tyler. Good to see you all again. Nice to be back home in the land of enchantment after being in Atlanta last weekend and spending some time in Nashville. No place like home.
That is for sure. David, you get that finish at New Hampshire, and now you're going into a couple off weeks here as NASCAR steps aside for the Olympics. How you feeling about things after that? Is that kind of the confidence the team needed?
Well, I mean, we had some good runs here lately. Just as a racing team, for our team, we having your team, the hard work and dedication, and the time they spend at the race shop and at the racetrack to have a 2-week break for. It's a good deal for your racing team to catch up a little bit, give your crew and your team a little time off. And, it's not a bad thing to have a little small break at about the halfway point through the season. So, looking forward to getting back to things at Watkins Glen, and going to take a little family vacation with my family, go to the beach for about a week, and get back to work after that.
There you go. What do you make of how the Xfinity race played out on Saturday, what you were a part of there?
Man, that was a great race. It was very competitive, and I wasn't surprised to see the 54 car in victory lane. That's anytime that car runs, whether you put Kyle Busch in it or whoever's driving it, that's a car that we're all going to have to beat to win that race. And was no big surprise to me that Christopher Bell put it in victory lane, but I'm excited to talk to Jeb Burton, to have him on our show today, and he's always a contender week in and week out, and he has a fast car week in and week out, and I'm sure we'll see him in victory lane for the year's over with, but not a big surprise how our Xfinity race turned out.
Well, Dominic, go ahead and give us the rundown. Tell us about Jeb Burton before we bring him in.
Sure. Jeb comes from racing royalty. When you talk about NASCAR, Uncle Jeff Burton, his father's ward. Jeb is somebody who has competed in all 3 national touring series of NASCAR. He's won a truck race, 2013, and he is the Xfinity Series newest winner, winning at Talladega in May. So, Jeb, again, we appreciate you coming on with us here at Let's Go Racing tonight, and thank you for joining the show.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me on here. Looking forward to talking with you all.
Yeah, Jeb. So, let's talk about your Xfinity season thus far. You opened the year with quite a bit of top 5 finishes. You win at Talladega. You have the runner-up at Atlanta a couple of weeks ago. How would you grade your season thus far at Kaulig Racing?
Yeah, I would give it the start of the season was going really good, and we've kind of had some bumps in the road. Just going to some places I haven't been to in a while, and just trying to hit on all strides again, like we were at the beginning of the year. So, I give our season about a B. It could have been going a lot better. It could have been going a lot worse. We got that win. That was really big. So, this off week, we're just trying to regroup and try to get ready for the playoffs that's coming up.
Well, cool, Jeb. It's awesome having you on the show today. And man, your family, yourself, dude, you got to be proud because, man, I've been watching you for years, and I don't think our listeners and a lot of the fans don't realize, even though you come from a great racing family background and your dad and your uncle and just how rich y'all are in the sport of NASCAR racing. But, as a young competitor, to win all the races you won and get an opportunity to race in NASCAR, how difficult it's been. You raced in all 3 national series, and man, you was always a tough competitor no matter what series you win, especially the truck series. But without having that powerhouse team to drive for full time, or not having one of those big multi-million-dollar sponsors, you did a heck of a job in all the different equipment you drove. So man, it was kind of cool to learn that you were going to drive for Kaulig Racing full time, because we all knew that you had the talent. You showed that years ago, and was no big surprise to see you in victory lane at Talladega, because all the skills and the ability has always been there. And but to have a racing team that had the equipment and the resources and everything you need for you to go out and do what you're good at, and to finally get that first win, man, you got to be so proud. And I feel like, once you got that first one, there's going to be many more to come, and I'm sure it was a big load, like a big old gorilla off your shoulders, and now you can go race and knowing that you can win and you have won, and just kind of changes your mindset, and you can do it now. So kind of give us a little bit of what your thoughts are about all that.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you saying that. I've always enjoyed racing with you, coming up through the truck series. And, it definitely hasn't been easy to get this opportunity, and all of the things that have went on in my career, the ups and downs and the valleys and the peaks to get to this point has been a journey. And to race for a team like Kaulig Racing has been unbelievable. Matt Kaulig does everything he can, and with Chris Rice to give us the tools that we need to go run good. So just appreciate this opportunity, and Nutrien Ag Solutions really hand chose me for this. So it's a great partnership with Dad and I and the brand. We're farmers, and it just works out really well. So it's going good. We got that first win off our shoulders, like you said. We led some laps this weekend at New Hampshire. Actually, we took off. Beginning of the race was really good, and then just got way too free. But yeah, man, it's a dream come true. I'm not done. I hope where I want to be. I want to try to make it to the Cup Series, and just keep chasing this journey and doing all I can, man.
Well, man, just knowing you like I know you and know your family, I think we're looking at we're looking at somebody that has a big future on the Cup side. I think you sure got a lot more wins to get on the Xfinity side, but it won't be long, and we'll see Jeb Burton in a Cup car, no doubt about it. But man, let's take it back to the start, man. As a son of a famous father. Tell us what it was like growing up, and going to the racetrack as a kid, and just watching your dad on television and your uncle. Man, what was it like being Jeb Burton as a young kid, and when did that, when did it start, for you? Was it right from the start as a small kid, or was it later on in life when you were 10, 11, 12? I mean, did you wake up one day and say, man, I want to be a NASCAR race car driver, So kind of share with us that kind of stuff, that story.
So growing up as a kid, I was really lucky to have my dad around, and I spent a lot of time at the racetracks on the weekends, hanging out and being there. And, I'd go sit on the pit box and watch the race, and just wanted to be a part of it. And I didn't really have a big interest in driving as a kid. I wanted to be a kid, and I think that's important for kids coming up now. Let them be a kid. They can still go race, but just let them be a kid. And that's what I did. I got started a little late. I started racing motocross actually when I was around 11, 12, 13. Did that, and then I started racing dirt go-karts, and I did that for a couple of years, and then moved my way to limited late model and then late model stock. So I got started a little late, but man, I wouldn't trade my childhood for anything. I had a lot of fun times, and it was really neat to be able to go all the different places and follow Dad's career, and all the cool things we got to do with him. And he's still a part of my career today. He doesn't come every week, but he's the first one to tell me when I've done something wrong. I can tell you that. But that's good. That's what you need, right? You need somebody, and he's normally the first person I call after the race, if it was good or bad. Just, he's going to tell me like it is. And, we have that relationship, and it's special, man. And I wouldn't trade it for anything. I'm really blessed to have my dad in my life and my mom. And it's been a journey to get to this point, buddy. It's been a lot of sleepless nights. It's so difficult to find the funding, as you know, to put these race cars on the track. And a lot of times you're dealing with things out of your control. And it's been tough, but it's all paying off.
And Jeb,
Well,
what age did you realize, or what point in time did you realize for the first time, hey, I can make it. I have the chance to be a professional race car driver?
So when I started racing go-karts, I've always been really competitive, from baseball or anything I was doing. And I realized on the two-wheel side, on the dirt, with the dirt bikes, I could go fast. But as far as the jumping and doing that stuff, I didn't have what it took, and I knew it. And I was like, this isn't for me. So I went to four wheels. And when I did that, I was like, I can do this. So then I remember the first time we went to a late model track. My dad had the car and everything, and he was like, you either can do this or you can't, and we're going to find out. I'm not wasting my time and money if you can either do it or not. And he drove the car first, and then I drove the car, and I was like 2.5 tenths off of him. My first time being in a car.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah. So he was impressed then. So then it was like, now we can go to work and try to make this happen. And I had speed right off the bat. I just didn't have the race craft that I needed, and that just takes time. And we just built a little team here in South Boston, Virginia, and started running. But that's when, about 12 or 13, I decided, this is what I want to chase. And then when I got about 15, 16, it was like, okay, this is what I want to do as a career. And I wish I could go back in time and make myself pay attention more to the little things, and work on my racecraft more, and work harder. It took me a little bit to realize that, I was still a kid. I was still in high school. So that's why I always tell younger folks now to, just because you think you don't need to be in that math class doesn't mean you don't need to be. So,
right. Well, man, you got to be proud of yourself, dude, because you however that path, your past, lifting into your past, I don't know if I'd change much, because anytime you can win a race in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series and the Xfinity Series like you have, I don't know if I'd change any of it, dude. You've done a heck of a job, and we're not surprised to learn that your dad just threw you in there. I guess once you're a Burton, you kind of got it in your blood, and I guess he kind of knew that you were going to have it. I mean, to be, 2.5 tenths off your dad's time, and man, we know what greatness that was with your dad, Ward Burton. I mean, that's pretty awesome, man. But I it's kind of cool. It's really cool to see you struggle as long as you did, and not struggle. You had the ability and could drive the heck out the wheels off these race cars, but just finding, having the opportunity to have the right funding, get with the right team. And man, once you did that, it's not surprising to see what you've done with it, so it's just kind of cool. And I think the fans might think, I think their perception is Jeb Burton, he's Ward Burton's son. So, he's going to have millions, going to have it all, but that's not reality. You know what I mean? And I think you show the fans that, you're your own guy. You've out there work, nobody's worked harder. And, to be a professional NASCAR race car driver, even if your dad's Ward Burton and your uncle's Jeb Burton, they're just not throwing millions of dollars your way. And it's kind of cool to see the process and the hard work and see it pay off and to see you in victory lane, man. It's just, it lets people know, man, it's tough. I don't care who you are, but it's cool to know that hard work, passion, and dedication pays off. And man, you that's everything that's happened to you, man. You deserve it.
I appreciate that, David. Yeah, it definitely hadn't been easy, but like you said, with me going through all those struggles, it's made me appreciate the opportunity even more and appreciate what I have and with this opportunity at Kaulig Racing. And I wish it wouldn't have been so difficult. That first year in trucks with that team, we were lighting it up and kind of all fell apart after that. So, but yeah, man, I think it's made me a better person on and off the racetrack to go through all those things. And yeah, I mean, in anything in life, it just shows if you keep digging, things can happen, man.
Well, Jeb, let me ask you, growing up around your dad and your uncle both, what do you remember about being around those guys in the garage and seeing the end of their careers at NASCAR's highest level?
Well, my dad's career kind of ended not on a good note. He didn't get to – he decided he was done, but, he just kind of got betrayed in a way, I think, with some teams and kind of got him booted out of the door. And he just kind of got tired of the dishonesty and the sponsorship stuff. And he just said, the hell with it, to be honest, and just exited out the sport. And I hated that he did that. He had opportunities to go run in good Xfinity cars and good trucks, but he didn't do it. And I think he would tell you he wished he would have went and done that to kind of revive in his career a little bit and go win races. But yeah, I mean, it wasn't a pretty ending for Dad. He just got tired of it and then just started focusing on my career. Jeff's path was a lot different. He kind of exited on his own and was with a big powerhouse race team when he ended his career. So Dad and Jeff definitely had two different paths.
Yeah, but they were both, man. Your dad was good, man. There's not another Ward Burton out there, that's for sure, man. I mean, I just grew up watching him race, and man, he told it like it was, and he could drive the wheels off a race car. And if the team and the crew chief he had, and if they could give him what he needed, you were going to see Ward Burton in victory lane, man. He was just, man. Your uncle and your dad, these guys, I mean, legendary, man. They were just greatness, great race car drivers. And, it just sounds like, at the end of your dad's career, it wasn't going the way he wanted to go, and a lot of dishonesty. It's not always it's a great industry and we're blessed to be in it, but sometimes it's not so pretty. But yeah. I always thought that Ward Burton did it his way, and he just quit when he wanted. He just said, "Hey, I'm done." You know what I mean? And I always thought why he, why he didn't jump into a winning Xfinity car or truck, But I guess as many races as he won and all the things he did in the sport, I guess when he was done with it. And man, I see your dad at the racetrack, and man, he's one proud dad, and not having a son that races in NASCAR like your dad does. I mean, I think watching you win and seeing how competitive you are week in and week out, I mean, you tell us, but to me, I think that's probably better than him being out there racing. You know what I'm saying? So I think he's right where he wants to be. I don't know, man. What do you think? You think he loves it better just watching you be successful than it is for him to be out there?
I think now for sure. I think if you could go back, David, I think he would want to run some more and race. It just got, like you said, it was not fun, or he was running and not great stuff, and just was what it was. But I'm trying to get some sponsorship stuff done next year, so maybe he can run my late model car. He hadn't raced in a while, so that'd be pretty cool.
Man, I think it'd be awesome to see Ward Burton in an Xfinity race racing against Jeb, or a truck race, wouldn't that be cool, man? I think that'd be awesome. Y'all talk about that?
That would be pretty cool. If we always talked, if I got fully funded,
Yeah.
we might try it. We're still working on sponsorship stuff. I don't think that ever ends. If I can get something done for next year, the next couple months, that could be something that we could work on to maybe go to a Martinsville or something like that, and see what he's got. I mean, I don't know how it would go. I'd want to put him in the late model first, see what he's still got there. But we did a ride a couple months ago, and he was hauling ass.
He ain't lost any of it, has he, Jeb?
I wasn't pushing it that hard because the truck was so tight. I mean, I was going to blow a right front tire, and he went out there and he was just, I mean, I was like, he hadn't hit something in a while, and I could, so we'll have to see what plays out on that.
Well, that's awesome, man. So, man, just moving forward with the Xfinity, going into the playoffs and everything, y'all feel really confident about everything. I mean, y'all have such a strong team. Y'all have done a heck of a job, and week in and week out, we know we're going to see Jeb Burton up there in the top 10, top 5. And like you said, it was you had a very good car there at New Hampshire, and I'm surprised that that wasn't your second win, but to lead those laps like you talked about. But anyway, sometimes it don't always work out. But still, I think you finished 5th or 6th. I don't know what it was. Might have been 4th, but you had a good run.
Yeah, at Atlanta we finished 2nd with not a very good car at all.
Wow.
It was not a pretty 2nd, but we made it happen. This weekend, man, I just made some mistakes on my feedback a little bit, and hurt us for a really solid day. I think we would have been 6th or 7th, to be honest, but I finished 11th. But yeah, man, we just need to get back on track and start clicking away. And we know the mile and a half has been a little bit of weakness for our whole organization. In the playoffs, we got Vegas and Kansas and Texas, so we need to run good at those places. AJ actually won at Vegas, the first Vegas. So, it shows that beginning of the year, I felt like our mile and a half stuff was even better. And once it got hot, it seemed like we started struggling a little bit. But the short track program is right where it needs to be. And the speedway program is awesome. So
absolutely.
And the road course stuff, we've got it going on. So I feel like we're in a good place. I just need to do a little bit better job and keep the team clicking, man. And all the people that are in front of us in points have been with their organizations more than a year.
Absolutely. That's a big advantage, I would say. Absolutely.
I think that is a big advantage for confidence for those guys. They have a notebook together. Some of these places like the Roval, I tested a Trans Am there 3 months ago, but other than that, I've never raced there.
Right.
So that's a playoff race, and those guys have raced there with their teams. We get so I think that's been tough, having no practice for us sometimes, just kind of knowing what I want. But we do the simulator. We try to do that once a week with the team. So we're doing all kind of stuff to try to prepare, but just doing the best we can. My goal is to be at the Final Four.
Absolutely. But, talking about the mile and a half, AJ winning at Las Vegas earlier this year, and you said Texas, and if I remember right, man, I think one of your truck wins was at the Texas Motor Speedway. So you know how to get around that place, So I feel like with AJ winning the first race there in Vegas, and then you winning at Texas before, seemed like maybe y'all dial in with that Allmendinger set up to whatever it was, and earlier this year, and then you kind of work around that. But man, we're pulling for you, man.
As you know, the Texas is a little bit different now than what it used to be. So
yes, it is.
It's the weirdest mile and a half turn one, turn two, I think we go to. So it's different, but I've had good runs there, and we'll just keep plugging away, buddy.
So let me ask you, Jeb, about Kaulig Racing. I think that Matt Kaulig and company, that's one of the best stories in all of NASCAR of what they've done to get to this point, and where you guys are at as an organization. We know about the Cup program that Kaulig Racing is starting next year. Just tell me about what's it been like working with Matt and working with that team. I mean, that's just a fun operation, it seems. I mean, you guys are really something special. I think it's one of the best success stories in NASCAR, the rise that you guys are at and where you're going.
Yeah, I mean, working with Matt Kaulig has been a lot of fun. Matt is passionate about the racing stuff, and Matt doesn't have to do racing if he doesn't want to do it. And Matt does it because he loves it. And I'm with a team that's up and coming. I mean, they have their charters. They're a Cup team now, and the path is sitting right there in front of me to go to Cup with these guys if I can show that I can do it on the lower level in Xfinity. So I wouldn't want to be with another team, to be honest, and just been a lot of fun. Chris Rice has built that place from the ground up. He's done a great job. Got good people there, and that's what this sport's all about, is having the right people. So it's a way different organization than I've ever been at. I mean, that place is like a assembly line. All the cars go through one thing. They all get set up like this, and that's the way it's going to be. And most other places, things are different. This team's doing that. This team's doing that. This team's doing that. And it's not really like that at Kaulig Racing. I've had a lot of fun being there.
That's awesome. Jeb, I also got to ask you about your cousin Harrison. We know that he got the big announcement going to a Cup with Wood Brothers. I'm sure, Dominic, we're going to talk about that later in news and notes. But how competitive do you and Harrison get with one another? What's it like racing on the track with him?
Yeah, we haven't. I don't think we've really ever touched. I think we did a little bit of year. We raced each other really hard but clean. I was holding him up pretty good at Texas, and he had some opportunities to move me and pack air on me, and he didn't. And then finally he had enough, and I finally let him go. Yeah, I mean, we haven't had any issues, and he's got a good opportunity there where he's at, and then also the next opportunity that he's got with the Wood Brothers. So hopefully I can make it to the Cup Series and we can continue racing against each other.
So as we know, Jeb, the silly season is just ramping up in the Cup Series, and I'm sure we're going to start hearing some more dominoes fall in place in the Xfinity Series too. What do your racing plans at this time look like for 2022?
Man, I don't know. To be honest, I'm working on it every day. I want to stay at Kaulig Racing for sure and be driving that 10 car full time. We're working on it every day. I need to go win some more races. I know that's not going to hurt anything. Continue to build my stock up and see where everything falls. So I want to be at Kaulig Racing. I got a home there, and we're just trying to get all the partners aligned to get it done.
Very good. Very good. David, what else you got?
Well, man, just listening to Jeb talk, I just feel good about the future for you. I feel like there's another win in there for you, and man, it'd be if you can make it to the Final Four and have a shot at winning that championship, man. I don't know. Even if you don't make the Final Four, I think you're one of the guys that we'll see on the Cup side. The Cup racing, it's changing right before us, and having your cousin in the Wood Brothers 21 car now in the future, I just think Jeb Burton is one that we're going to be watching on the Cup side in the future, and just because I know your ability, I know what you've done, know what you can do. I just hope the rest of the season goes like y'all want it. Y'all have the team, you have the resources, Chris Rice, your crew chief, and I hope you get you a couple more wins and have a shot at that championship at the end of the year. And like you said, if you can do that, it almost solidifies you to have a guaranteed shot with Kaulig Racing way into the future, whether that be Cup or a couple more years on the Xfinity side. But man, you're just one of those, you see the young talent out there, how strong it is. and I put you in that group. And I feel like we'll be seeing Jeb Burton in Cup Series in the future, no doubt.
Well, I appreciate that, man. Yeah, we're trying. I can tell you that it's not from a lack of effort. I need to do a little bit better job on some stuff and clean up from pit road to restarts to, you know how difficult it is, man, and put it all together. And that's our goal. I need to go win some more races and get the leading laps, and the rest will take care of itself.
Absolutely.
Now, Jeb, I hear you got a TV show of sorts. What's going on there?
Yeah, so we created Crossroads with the Burtons in 2017. I was racing part-time and had a lot of extra time going on. And it wasn't on TV then. It was just social media stuff with Dad and I and my wife, Brandy. And it turned where it was an opportunity to take it to TV. And we're on the Sportsman channel. It actually just went off about 30 minutes ago. And Wednesdays and Thursdays. So it's been a lot of fun. It's just another avenue, just like this is for David to help your partners. And Dad actually went on a python hunt with this guy called Mike Python Cowboy in Florida, and it was pretty crazy. Dad grabbed the snake by the head. You can go to his Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and stuff and look at it, but pretty crazy. We're doing all kind of stuff, and we've always been big, passionate guys in the outdoors, so it's just been a lot of fun.
Hey, Jeb, I can tell you, man, I love the outdoors, fishing and hunting, but dude, I don't do snakes, man.
Me
God, I hate snakes. Woo, there's only one good kind of snake, you know, to me.
Yeah. I agree with you. I agree with you on that, buddy.
Woo. Oh, man, that's awesome.
That's incredible. And what about just in your future? You want to do more TV stuff? Any chance that we'll see more like this down the line, or maybe would you want to call some races or something? Do you like doing the TV thing?
You know, I don't know if the TV side is for definitely not for me right now. I want to race for another 15 years at least is my goal. And then who knows what happens after that, but want to keep growing Crossroads and keep getting it more popular and taking it maybe to the next level. And we've got a great partnership with the Sportsman channel, so that's been good, and just want to keep that growing. And a lot of people don't know about it, so we're just trying to spread the word about it.
Absolutely.
Very cool. Very cool. We got time for a couple more questions, guys. Dominic, anything else you got?
Yeah, Jeb, I mean, I'm kind of circling back here, maybe 3 or 4 steps, but just based on how well you have done at Kaulig Racing and how well the season has gone for you, I mean, July time, racing in NASCAR, would you say this is the most relaxed you've been, or maybe not as stressed in any NASCAR season you've been a part of?
Not really. I'm like I said, I don't know what the hell I'm doing next year. I think I do. I don't know. So it's always stressful, man. And you know, I've got a lot of stress this year. I'm trying to perform for a new race team, new sponsors, trying to get it done. And I got a lot of people I'm carrying on my shoulders, and all the crew members on our team want to do well for their families. So it's a lot riding on what I do behind that wheel, and for my family. So, you know, the pressure and the stress is there, and I'm working really hard on these off weeks to get it out and get back to work so we can go win some races. I believe in the team, and don't want to be driving anywhere else. But yeah, I think I'll be okay for next year. But until you have a contract signed, you never know.
True. And we know you've run some one-off deals in the Cup Series, Pocono, Martinsville. We know Kaulig fields the part-time car. What's the likelihood we would see you in a Kaulig Cup car before the end of the year, or with another organization, or another one-off deal?
I don't think any for me for this year, to be honest, unless something came up where Kaulig wanted that to happen, or if there was another really good opportunity, someone asked me to drive, we'd definitely look at it. But no plans right now. I'd love to try to run some Cup races next year if there was a possibility. with that new car and see how that thing handles.
Awesome. That's great. We'll get to our NASCAR news and notes segment in just a moment. Before we do, a reminder, Let's Go Racing with David Starr is presented by Whataburger. Stop by Whataburger for a hot, hearty breakfast any morning or late at night. They're serving up breakfast from 11 p.m. to 11 a.m. Proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. Dominic, a lot of changes among the NASCAR Cup Series involving some big-time rides. Go ahead and run those down for us and what's all happened just in about a week's time.
Sure, we'll go in chronological order. We kind of got a big NASCAR news dump a few days back, learning that Matt DiBenedetto will be out of the 21 car in 2022. Jeb's cousin, Harrison, will be running for Rookie of the Year with the 21 team. We also know that Brad Keselowski has officially been announced as a part owner, and he will drive the number 6 car for Roush next year. They haven't named the team yet or what the operation is going to look like, but we know Keselowski will be making that jump over to Roush at the end of the season. Ryan Newman has been offered a part-time role with Roush Fenway as of right now, but we don't know what's going to happen there with Newman either.
Yeah, and you forgot to mention Austin Cindric in the 2 car.
That's right. How can I forget Austin Cindric to the 2 car? Absolutely. He'll be another Rookie of the Year candidate.
Right, and Keselowski will be the competition director for Roush Fenway as part of the ownership deal. David, let's start with you. What do you make of all these changes that have occurred here in the last week?
Man, a lot of changes, not really surprised about the, we've been hearing for a while now, the, little rumors about Brad Keselowski and what his future look like. And, man, you can't blame Brad. I mean, man, racing for Roger Penske, I think that it don't get much better than that. But I think he was looking at the future of what Brad Keselowski is going to do, and for Roush Fenway to offer him an ownership role in that organization and to race. I'm sure they told him he can race as long as he wants to, but Brad brings a lot to the table. And, you look at a lot of the owners, you look at Richard Childress and Roger Penske and Jack Roush and you look at the age of a lot of these owners, and we're seeing a lot of maybe young new owners coming in the sport. Michael Jordan, Denny Hamlin, the trackside or
Trackhouse.
Justin Mark tracks. I mean, and to have Brad be, we don't know how much ownership he has in Roush Fenway, but man, what an opportunity for him. Probably going to race as long as he wants to, but what he brings to that organization, he's so good with the sponsors love him, his ability to put a car in victory lane to win championships. I mean, he brings a lot to Roush Fenway, and I think moving forward in the future, we're going to see that Roush Fenway get back to what it once was. And, man, I just think it's a great opportunity for Brad, and you can't blame him. To see Harrison Burton get an opportunity with the Wood brothers. I heard a little bit of rumblings a couple months ago, and, you talk about a young, new talent kid with a lot of talent. I was really surprised a little bit by that change, but I've been hearing some rumblings in the garage about that. And, and Leeds next, where's Matt Benedetto going to land at? Man, he's done a tremendous job as well. But, man, we're just seeing a lot of changes right in front of us. The sport's big changes. We got a new car coming out in 2022, new owners coming into the sport. There's just a lot of good positive changes going on, and it just says a lot about our sport we're in and the health of it. I just think there's a lot of cool stuff going on, and man, the news, all the different news that we've been hearing over the last couple of weeks, even a lot of people that aren't NASCAR fans have kind of stopped me and been talking about things, so I just think the excitement level and all the different news and the changing going on has really got a lot of enthusiasm out there in our sport, so it's kind of cool.
Jeb, what do you make of these changes that we found out here the last week or so, including your cousin Harrison hopping in that 21 car? I imagine he's got to be pretty excited for this opportunity.
Yeah, for sure. That's a good opportunity for him, and the pressure is going to be on him big time now. moving up to the Cup level, and the Cup level is not easy at all. It's a different zip code for sure. So it's going to be tough on him probably for the first year. And, They'll be fine though. Harrison's a good little wheel man, and they'll figure it out. It's a good opportunity for him, and Brad Keselowski has always been a really, really nice guy to me, and I'm just happy for him and happy for Roush. Roush is a racing place and full of racers, and kind of struggled the last couple of years. And I hate to see that. So glad they did something with Brad, and hopefully get him back on track. And they'll probably do an Xfinity or truck team maybe one day. So just creating a lot of new opportunities. The new cars coming out, like David said, it's creating a lot of buzz, and just things are looking up in our sport. There was a time we were all kind of worried about the way things was going on, and now there's new energy and new life. And Steve Phelps and all the guys there have been doing a really good job. So just glad to be part of the sport right now. And, I want to be in it for another 15, 20 years. So it's great to see the things that are going on.
And David, I mean, you take a look too, like when you look at the list of ownership over the last few years, I mean, David, would you agree this kind of has a 1990s feel to it? Because you look since 2017, Derek Cope, Brad Keselowski, now Jeff Gordon going to be a part with a bigger role at Hendrick Motorsports, Justin Marks, Denny Hamlin, on top of that, some of the celebrities. This feels like NASCAR from the 1990s, where you see a lot of drivers take on that ownership role. You think back, Jeff Bodine, Darrell Waltrip, Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd.
Man, no doubt about it. And, we start seeing a lot of our superstars of NASCAR racing, Denny Hamlin, Brad Keselowski. And I mean, when you have the opportunity, look at Denny Hamlin to team up with Michael Jordan, bring Michael Jordan into the sport of NASCAR racing, man, that's huge. And we got Pitbull that's, partners with Justin Marks. And now we got Brad Keselowski, part of the Roush Fenway group. I mean, that's just, when those opportunities come to these drivers, man, you can't blame them for taking advantage of that, because, Brad's probably going to race 5 or 6 more years. Like, we don't really know what his future is and what he wants to do or how he wants to do. But to know that he's going to be part of the sport for a long time. I mean, heck, we might even see Jeb Burton driving for Brad Keselowski one day. You know what I'm saying? But I think it's kind of cool that Brad is positioning himself, putting himself in a position to be a team owner. Look what Jeff Gordon's doing with Hendrick Motorsports. And, us as race car drivers, man, that competitive, we're so competitive. And you never want to think of that day where, you're not going to the racetrack week in and week out, but one day that will come for all of us. And to transition into a NASCAR Cup Series team owner, man, it don't get much better than that, man. We're all passionate and love the sport. So, it does kind of remind you back in the times you're talking about, Dominic, but it's just kind of cool. A lot of energy, a lot of passion, just a lot of stuff going on in our sport these days.
Yeah, certainly. And the thing that comes to mind, Dominic, for me, among all these things that we haven't really touched on much, is Matt DiBenedetto out of that 21 car. Where does he land? He was just in the playoff last year. We know that there's kind of a limit on seats, on openings, at least in top equipment. What does this all mean for Matty D now, Dominic?
I think it kind of opens up the playbook like we saw at New Hampshire. He had said post-race, he goes, we knew we were going to finish 8th place. Why not take a gamble and go try to lead some laps and try to win the race? I think you'll see a lot more gambling from that team. They have nothing to lose. They have to win essentially to get in the playoffs at this point. It's a great question, Tyler. It really makes you wonder, where will he end up? Will he have to maybe take a ride in the Xfinity or the Truck Series if one becomes available of good stature, like we saw John Nemechek do with Kyle Busch Motorsports in the Truck Series this year? I don't know if that's something that's in the cards. He would like to stay in the Cup Series, but wanting and actually getting to do are two different things.
Right, and that's a good transition to talk about last Sunday's race of Eric Almirola pulling off a huge upset, getting his first win since, 2018, and shaking up the playoff bubble there a bit. Dominic, run that down for us. A big win for him, and now the playoffs certainly have changed a lot.
It was just like everybody predicted, right? Stewart-Haas Racing's first win would come in July with Eric Almirola in 2022, when we were all thinking last year at this point. No, all joking aside, though, you're right. Almirola shakes up the playoff grid as he entered 27th in points coming into the New Hampshire race. But Almirola picked up his 3rd career win. He's now 98th. along with about 12 other drivers on the all-time wins list in the Cup Series. It was his first non-super speedway win, but I think that's the big shock there, David, when you take a look at Eric Almirola. I mean, really, I don't think any of us expected July would have been Stewart-Haas Racing's first victory in the Cup Series this year.
Man, that's a big surprise to see what Kevin Harvick done in 2021 with 9 wins and him missing the playoffs like he did. But man, they were such a powerhouse team last year. It's, to me, that's probably one of the biggest stories of 2021 is not seeing Kevin Harvick or Denny Hamlin in victory lane yet, you know. And but man, it only takes that one win. And man, I stayed for the race on Sunday, and man, that 10 car was fast. You could see him coming up through the field. You knew he had a fast car, and man, it was amazing how good his car was. Man, he earned that, and he's going to be in the chase, and good for them. And you know, I keep saying week in and week out, we're going to see Denny Hamlin or Harvick back into victory lane. But so far, I mean, I was watching Kevin Harvick Sunday. He ran in the top 5 most of the day, but he faded a little bit at the end. But man, I still feel like we're going to see Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick. I'm surprised, man. I can't wait to hear Jeb's opinion of it. But man, I think the Stewart-Haas finally getting into victory lane here at New Hampshire, I'm surprised, man, by that, you know, and I'm sure everybody else is too as well.
Jeb,
Yeah.
what did you make of the win that Eric pulled off this weekend?
Yeah, you know, I think the key to all this is a different package. They won with the old style package, little spoiler, big horsepower. That's when Stewart-Haas was been winning a lot of races. They've stopped winning those races when they switched the package. The package is different at these 1.5 miles. You know, they're running wide open. New Hampshire, they're not running wide open at all. And I feel like they have a really good package for that. So Martinsville, Phoenix, those kind of places, I think they still have the speed. It's just that new style package, it seems like they don't have the speed there. So, but yeah, I was surprised that the 10 car won. He showed really good speed at the beginning of the race, and I was like, wow, where's this been at? And he's probably saying the same thing, but Eric's a really nice guy. And was happy for them. You want to cheer for the underdog, and Eric's been through a lot of stuff, and for them to pull it off, I was happy for him.
So, and Dominic, I'll go to you. How do you think this affects the playoff? There's only a 5-point gap now between 16th and 17th. Who's ultimately going to make it? Who's going to be left home?
Yeah, you've really pitted, if you're just going off points now, you've pitted Reddick and Dillon against each other for that final playoff spot. Of course, RCR teammates. But I think in order to get to the playoffs now, you're going to have to win. And I think what would make this even more interesting, everybody forgets that if you win the regular season championship, no matter how many wins you've had, you are locked into the playoffs. Denny Hamlin has been hanging on by the skin of his teeth the last 5 weeks to the playoff lead, or to the points lead, I should say. So if he makes the playoffs without a victory, that leaves one less spot there as well for somebody to pick up. It is going to take a win. You have the Indianapolis Grand Prix coming up. We know road courses can be a wild card. We know the same with Watkins Glen. And then the ultimate biggest question mark, Daytona, the last race before the playoffs start. What about somebody like a Cole Custer or a Chase Briscoe, somebody who's not even being talked about right now, going in and shaking off the playoff grid anymore? And David, we've talked about this too. I mean, there's still a chance we could have 17 winners or a winner be snubbed from the playoffs.
Man, no doubt about it. It's, you know, just the energy, the excitement, and everything that's how it's unfolding on the Cup side. It's just very interesting, you know, and I think the energy there, and I just think it's very entertaining. And like I said, there's a lot of people that like racing but don't really follow it like they have in the future. And I think it just brings a lot of new eyes, and people are paying attention to it now because it's very, very entertaining, you know. But man, but you talked about the RCR cars, to see Austin Dillon and his teammate Roddick. You know, those, I think the number 8 car has been real fast all year long, and I wouldn't be surprised to see that 8 car. I just, you know, week in and week out, that 8 car is really strong, you know, and it's interesting, and hopefully one of those guys make the playoffs. But man, there's a lot of great cars on the outside looking in, you know what I'm saying? So it's these next 3-4 races, whatever it is, it's going to be interesting. And the cool thing about it, a lot of fans are tuning in to see what's going to happen and who's going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm rooting for chaos, guys. I want this to be a crazy finish at the end of the regular season. I mean, Jeb, as somebody that gets to watch the Cup Series, for me, this seems like it's been a highly entertaining regular season. The schedule's been different than what we've seen in a long time. And we mentioned the diversity of winners and such. Sitting back, are you entertained watching the Cup Series on Sundays? What have you made? What do you make of what we've seen on the Cup side?
Yeah, I think it's really entertaining. The other thing you need to think about, if Austin Dillon or somebody out wins, a couple more people win, then Denny Hamlin and Kevin Harvick aren't going to make the playoffs. And if that happens, there's going to be some pissed off people probably. That's part of this this deal. You would never think it'd be that many different winners, but I think it's great. I think that's what the sport needs. We don't need the same guy winning every week. So I think it's good, and I've been entertained. I think I hadn't really liked the package, the wide open stuff. Doesn't really appeal to me a lot, because as a driver, you can't do anything. You're holding it wide open, and it's either going to go or it's not. And that's frustrating. But hopefully this new car, they kind of get away from that package, more like our Xfinity cars. Our Xfinity cars are a handful, and you got to drive the hell out of them. So that's what I'm hoping they'll start doing for next year.
There you go. Before we get to our Ask David segment, don't forget that every Whataburger is made fresh, served hot, and prepared just like you like it. Want jalapenos and cheese on that? No problem. They've got you covered. Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. All right. Each week here on Let's Go Racing, we ask you to submit questions to us. You can email us at davidstarpodcast@gmail.com. Also on our Facebook page, David Starr Podcast, and by Twitter @Star Podcast. And we got a couple questions for both you guys. We'll start out with Jeb this time. Jeb, this question comes in from Bob. Bob wants to know, what's the worst question a reporter has ever asked you?
I don't know. I don't know that answer, to be honest. Probably something pretty stupid, I can imagine, but it's not on top of my head right now. I'm not sure how to answer that one, buddy.
All right, David, we've asked you some stuff over the last couple months. We might be the ones that actually have that question.
Well, I mean, hey, thank God for all the different reporters and the media, to get our stories, to get Jeb's story out there, and thank God for him. But hey, just like Jeb was saying, man, there's been some stupid questions over the years. Sometimes it catches me off guard, and it's like, hey, man, were you watching the same race I was in? You know what I mean? And do you know the difference between powerhouse teams and not powerhouse teams? You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of interesting sometimes, some of the questions that they ask you. It's like, I believe there's some media people that come in and out of the sport that don't cover it every week and really aren't that educated on our industry and the different drivers and the teams and and how it kind of works. You know what I mean? And so anyway, sometimes I just laugh with inside because I don't want to offend them. You know what I mean? But I laugh, and by some of the dumb questions they ask, hey man, they don't know much about what we do. You know what I mean? But there's been some stupid ones over the years, that's for sure.
Dominic, you've asked some dumb questions, right?
I've asked some stupid questions in my time. Yeah, there was one time, I believe the press conference was being broadcast on Fox Sports 1, Kansas City. You were there, Tyler, for this one. I mispronounced Eric Almirola's name on live TV, and he corrected me immediately in front of everybody. That was pretty nice. And then another time, I was at an Olive Club.
You called him Aric.
Arik Almirola. I don't know why I called him that. I thought that was his name, but no, it's not his name. He made sure to let me know. And then another time in Fontana, Danica Patrick had crashed out. I think she spun it off too, and she junked her car. She was done. And there was a big media slum outside of the medical center. And just trying to get a question in. Again, I should have done my research. I asked her, was this the hardest hit you've ever taken in a race car? And she just looked at me and she goes, no. And she ended the media thing. And we're going back to the media center reporters like, yeah, she's had a lot harder crashes. And yeah, I realize that now. What about you, Tyler?
Oh, man. I've had some dumb questions, but I'll just go ahead and ask a dumb question, David. How about that? Well, if you could, David, would you take a shower in PJ1?
No, absolutely not.
There we go.
Okay, good to know. All right. The next question, we'll start with Jeb this time. Jeb, with the question coming in comes from Cheryl. Cheryl wants to know, with the Olympic break, what is your favorite Olympic sport?
I don't really watch the Olympics, but I would have to go with the shooting. I like
archery.
There you go.
Okay. I like that too. David, you got a favorite Olympic sport?
Man, I love watching the skiing, downhill skiing and then the second one would be the track and field. I mean, there's all kinds of cool sports, and if you can pay attention a little bit, the stories, hearing Jeb's story, it ain't been easy for him. And, the underdog guy that's driven everything that any opportunity came to him, he took advantage of it. And now you see him, you got a great opportunity. Now he's winning races in NASCAR. I mean, there's some good stories out there. And I love to hear the stories about the athletes and see how they were raised and see the challenges they faced and the adversity, and to see them overcome that and become champions and to represent the United States. It's kind of inspiring if you can pay attention a little bit and to the different sports. But man, I'm competitive and I love track and field. I love the basketball. I like the boxing part of it, but the skiing is pretty cool. And man, I just, looking back on the Olympics, the swimming side, I really wasn't much into the swimming part, but seeing what was his name? The guy won all
Michael Phelps.
Man, that guy was, he's not human. You know what I'm saying? To see all the gold medals he won and how he won it and the fashion he won it in, it was just kind of cool to see that, So I just love all kinds of sports, but the stories and the athletes, the stories behind their careers and how they made it and overcome adversity, is no different from us NASCAR drivers. It's just kind of cool and inspiring to me. So I love all of it.
Now, Dominic, if you want to look for a good crossover of Olympics and racing, you got to start with Jeff Burton. I know this is the Summer Olympics coming up, but that's a real good point to talk about of those two sports crossing paths.
Absolutely. Jeff Burton involved with the Winter Olympics and the U.S. Olympic bobsledding team. He wasn't happy with the results and coming to find out that a lot of these sleds weren't made in America. So he wanted to do something about it. And he, like he says on his story, he opened his mouth. He said, well, now I've got to deliver on it. And he wanted to make sure the Olympic team had American equipment. And long story short, with the Night Train bobsled, they ended up winning the gold in 2010, I believe, in Vancouver.
Very cool. David, here's an idea. What about having the motorsports in the Olympics, like an IROC style thing? Do you think that could work?
Well, I don't know. Just kind of we got through racing Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening, and I got cleaned up and I tuned in to Tony Stewart and Ray Evernham's race from Nashville. And I kind of want to hear what Jeb's opinion of it. But, man, I was kind of entertained with Chase Elliott winning and seeing Chase and Bill Elliott out there swapping paint. And, man, I've been kind of entertained with that. Man, it'd be kind of cool if they had, a little series in the Olympics, a stock car racing series. I don't know if it's a NASCAR or whatever you may call it, but be kind of cool if they did that. You know what I mean? It'd be way different, and I think it would bring a lot of eyeballs to it. But man, I think it'd be kind of cool to have auto racing in the Olympics. You know what I mean? It'd be kind of cool. That's kind of outside the box. I never even thought about that until you mentioned it, but it'd be kind of cool. But man, I'm curious to see what Jeb's opinion is about Tony and Ray's new racing series.
Yeah, I think it's really cool. And I'm hoping they'll invite Dad to do it next year. That'd be really neat, and maybe I'd be able to run a race with them or something. So I think it's awesome. The sport needs it. I don't look at it as a competitor to NASCAR at all. I just look at it as a way that the short track guys are getting opportunities to race against some of their heroes. So it's pretty neat.
It'd be kind of cool. Hey guys, how about the Burton family? Harrison, Ward, Jeb, and Jeff. Wouldn't that be cool to have four, two father and son, two pairs of father and sons out there? I think I'm surprised that they hadn't gotten that ain't happened yet. You know what I mean? To have Chase Elliott and Bill Elliott out there, swapping paint, and beating and banging on each other, and Willie T. Ribbs and all the different diverse race car drivers that we've seen. I think that's coming up in the near future, as far as I'm concerned.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Well, guys, before we go, Jeb, tell us what you got going on these next couple of weeks. I know you guys are off a bit, but what are you going to do in your downtime, and where can people keep track with all of your racing activities? Where can people follow you, man?
Yeah, on my social media, Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is Jeb Burton Racing. And then my next couple of weeks, I'm going to the race shop tomorrow. I got my Crossroads film guys coming in the rest of the week. And then next week, I got to go do appearance with Nutrient Solutions, and then go back to the race shop for a day. And then I'm going on a vacation for 3 or 4 days, and then get ready for Watkins Glen. So I'm going to enjoy the off time and downtime with family, and then get regrouped and get ready to go try to win a race.
That sounds great. David, what are you doing these next couple of weeks, man?
Man, I got a couple big meetings the rest of the week. Got a funeral to attend tomorrow, which is sad. I hate funerals. And then got a little racing school business to attend to, and then I'm going to be headed to over Alabama. We're going to try something different. The Starr family, we're going to go over to the beach in Alabama instead of Florida this time. Spend about 6-7 days with my family, and then next week I'm jumping on an airplane headed up to Grandview Speedway up in Pennsylvania to do an appearance for Alarm Tech Systems, and then headed over to Charlotte, getting ready to go race in Watkins Glen, but trying to enjoy trying to balance everything out. You got to take care of the racing business. We want to spend some time with my family, and take a little bit of R&R at the beach, and then get ready for, like Jeb was saying earlier, get ready for our playoffs, get ready for the end of the last segment of the season.
Awesome. And Dominic, what's going on in the racing experts?
We'll just continue to cover the news and notes of the sport. Jonathan Field, Justin Malillo are guys that keep the site going on the day-to-day. In fact, Jonathan, he's moving out here to New Mexico this week, so we'll be able to collaborate a little bit more, I'm sure. So I'm really excited about that. And yeah, we'll just continue to cover the sport over the next 2 weeks, and looking forward to being at the racetrack again real soon. What about you, Tyler?
Well, I'm back after a nice few days in Phoenix, going to the NBA Finals and such, and so settling at home for about 3 or 4 weeks before I'll be on the road again. So, but we just actually hit the 10-year mark of my other show I do, the Jones Report, since it started just a few days ago. So certainly proud of that accomplishment, Bill, to do that show and this show in addition to my TV work each and every week. So certainly appreciative of that. Guys, before we go, we certainly encourage you to email the show at davidstarpodcast@gmail.com. Show us you left a review, and we'll send you an autographed David Starr photo while supplies last. You can also follow the show on Twitter at Star Podcast and on Facebook, David Starr Podcast as well. We got to go. Jeb, any final thoughts before we get out of here, man? We appreciate you joining us and giving us your time today, man.
Yeah, just appreciate everything. Appreciate y'all having me on, David. Appreciate your friendship, man. And anytime you need anything from me, let me know. And I know I can pick up the phone and call you anytime too. So appreciate it.
No problem, buddy. It's been awesome having you on here. You got a lot of fans behind you, and man, you got a bright future ahead of you. I hope to see you in victory lane a couple more times for the season's end. And man, God willing, it'd be kind of cool to see Jeb Burton win the championship in the Xfinity Series in 2021. So you got all us guys. I know I compete against you, but man, you got all of us cheering for you, buddy. So hope the best for you in the future. And we already know you're going to have a big future in this sport, buddy. So pretty cool.
Thank you.
There you have it. We'll put the checkered flag out on this edition of Let's Go Racing. For David Starr, Dominic, Aragon, and Jeb Burton, I am Tyler Jones saying so long. This has been another edition of Let's Go Racing. We'll see you next week.